Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be trying out the Morphe and James Charles palette. This is the mini version. I've also got the brush set here to try. So I'm not a particularly big fan of James Charles, but I thought the mini version of this palette would be really good to have in my kit, just because it's kind of got literally everything, like every color you could need. I don't use bright colors on clients very often, but I just wanted to have that like just in case. And I'm currently carrying, you know, like maybe 3, 4 or 5 different palettes that have color in them, just so I have a good range, whereas I could condense that down to just this. It would also be really good for travel, if you were going away, especially if you're going on a trip where you're doing maybe like some normal things, but also going to like a party or a festival. You want to have options for color. I think that would be really good because you do get the neutrals and the color as well. And it has a pretty good mirror. Ooh, say hello. So yeah, I thought I may as well just try it out on camera, give you guys my thoughts, and we'll see how we go. So I'm going to start off by priming my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I often just use concealer, but I have heard that this palette works better with the primer because there's like pressed pigments or something, like some of the shades of pressed pigments or whatever. Give it a go. I've already got like a layer of concealer on my eyelid too. Okay, I'm going to start by dipping this M441 into this kind of bone coloured shadow to set the upper half of my crease. Ooh, quite a lot of kick up from that. Not that I really care about that, but just thought it was worth mentioning. This brush is a little bit like pokey too. I haven't tried any Morphe brushes either, by the way. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. But this is like spiky. What the heck? Especially for such like a big brush, you'd expect it to be really like loose and soft, but it's actually quite dense, and the bristles are like a bit spiky. Like scratchy. That's the word I'm looking for. Just realized I should probably zoom you guys in a little bit. Okay, I feel like this will give you a better view of my eyes. So now, I'm gonna use that same scratchy brush. I'm going to go into, I should use the little thing with the shades. What's that? Code James. This one here. You just go into the crease. That is so much more orange than it looks in the pan. Like usually when you have colors like this in palettes, they come out like a warm brownish kind of color. That came out like orange. I feel like you have to be really careful and light-handed with this palette, like with the colors, which is a good thing if you're trying to like build up super bright, which I guess is what he kind of does, but whew. I feel like I'm scratching my eyes off. Let's try another one. Let's try the M433. It's a bit smaller and it feels softer, like it's not as dense. I don't think it's going to be as pokey. Let's give it a go. And I'm just going to dip back into Canvas, it's called, that bone colour. So just blend out the edge. Oh, that's much better. That's not as scratchy. Okay, now I'm going to dip into Rusted, which is like a burnt reddish orange kind of colour. I'm just going to deepen up the crease a little bit. I might end up doing a cut crease, perhaps. Not too sure. Wow, these are bright. I'm a little bit disappointed already because I was really excited about that brush set. When I saw it, I thought like, wow, this is like the perfect combination of like shapes and sizes. But honestly, I think I've had like Jessup brushes from eBay that were softer than this, like less scratchy. Although, I think the rest of them will be okay because a lot of these are like flat, like packing brushes or angled brushes and things. So I think they'll be okay because it doesn't really matter if they're a little bit pokey. Anyway, going into You're Kidding. I like read these shades in his voice. Yeah, they're shedding on me. No joke. These are the scratchiest brushes I've ever used in my whole life. That's not even eyeshadow, that's just my eyelid bleeding right now. I'm going back into Code James, that first, this one. We don't have any fallout, so that's a good thing since I did my base first. You know, for every color in this palette, there's actually not like a cranberry-ish, like plummy burgundy color. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab the M506 and I'm gonna dip back and forth between Boutique and Love That, so that purple and that brown, just so I get a kind of in-between color. Ooh, this brush is very precise. It's really easy to enter neon territory by accident with this palette. You kind of can't get a soft wash of the color, which is fine. Okay, too small. I'm going back to the M433. To blend that out. Smell very good. So I'm just picking up a bit of Love That on that same brush and just patting it over. I'm going back into that red that's called You're Kidding and just blending over the edge of the crease to blend the purple and that orangey color together. And I'm just going to go down into the inner corner a bit too for when I cut the crease. Okay, now I'm taking the M456. It's just like a slightly smaller version of the M433. And I'm going to pick up Boutique, No Beans and Benny. Just like a bit of a mix of these darker browns. Because I just want to deepen up the very corner here. Now, I'm going to cut the crease with my concealer. I'm going to use the Too Faced Sculpting Concealer. I always do this and it never focuses. There it is. Too Faced Born This Way Sculpting Concealer. Okay, so the set comes with 3 like packing kind of brushes. This one here looks like it would be meant for concealer. because of the bristles, but it also has a really thin edge. So I think I'm going to use that one. So just pat it on my lid and then look up, see where it prints. Yeah, these brushes stink. I'm not into it. So I'm going to go to about there, kind of 2/3 of the way. Try and make it even on the other side. Okay, I have to say, this brush, what is it even called? M224. It's kind of doing all the work for me. Like, it's very, it is good. Like, I'm literally just like pressing the edge, and it's got like the perfect curve, and it's so thin that it's just like creating that line for me. Usually I have a bit more trouble than that. So that's good. Well, they're not even at all, are they? Okay, so now I'm just gonna pat that little edge there with my finger. Just so it's not so harsh. Okie dokie. Now, I'm thinking I might go with these two. Is that too crazy? I'm gonna do the purple first. So that same brush that I just did the powder with, I'm gonna pick up that purple. I'm just gonna press it on here. Well, that's doing fuck all. Okay, try again. I'm gonna spray the brush. Okay, that's a bit better. Wow, it's like super foiled. It's also falling out a lot. I'm actually going to use a finger. Ooh, it's quite pretty. I'm finding it really hard to get like an even layer. I'm just using this M124 little brush. Now I'm picking up that blue. It's called Hello. I'm going to pop that in the inner corner here. Just using Boutique, the brown shade. Now I'm going to get a bit of that purple called Love That. Now, slightly fluffier brush, You're Kidding and Rusted, the two red shades. Go James. And I'm just going to pat a bit of that purple on the center of my lower lash line. Now I just want to try out this little liner brush. This is the Inglot 77. I haven't used gel liner in so long. I think this brush is fine. It's just me. And since I did such a terrible job of that, I'm just gonna grab a flat brush. This is M410, M410, however you say it. And I'm gonna grab the black, which is called Spooky. I kind of like that one. Okay, just a tiny bit of that. Just gonna press it over the edge to soften the liner a little bit. So all in all, I think it did pretty well. I think you would really like this palette if you're the type of person who likes to do your makeup by like packing on your darkest or your brightest color first and then blending it out with other colors. I think it would work really well like that. If you like to use really bright colors, then I mean, obviously this would be good for you too. But yeah, all in all, I do think it is quite handy. I didn't really have any problems with fallout. I mean, we got, I'd say, a pretty good look out of it. I think you can create a lot of different, like endless combinations from the colors in here. So I actually probably would recommend this if you don't really have anything colorful and you want like an affordable colorful palette. Onto the brushes. Those are all the ones I used. I didn't get to try these ones here. So I didn't try the brow brush, the short shader, the detail shader, or this one, which for some reason is like different packaging to the others. I don't know. Anyway, these are, yeah, the scratchiest blending brushes I've ever used. I would be scared to use these on a client because I wouldn't be able to tell if I'm scratching them or not. This one here, the M506, that one, not so scratchy. It must be something about like the white hair versus this one here. This is a lot softer, very, very detailed though. It's not like a small blendy brush. This is like a defining brush. And then the M456, this was softer than the other white bristle ones, but still quite scratchy. But I do like that size and shape of a brush. The M224 was definitely a winner. That's the one I used to cut my crease with the concealer. I really like this. That pretty much did all the work for me. The M166, I'm not sure about this one. I think it's not bad. It's quite like puffy. It's not as thin and flat as this one. And I found this didn't really pick up the purple shade very well, but I also think that purple, because it's like a glittery shade, it doesn't pick up that well. Then there's the M124. This is the little shader brush. I really like this. It's a lot thinner than the big one. It's got a good amount of bend to it. It's quite soft and it picked up the blue really well. Really like that one. The liner brush was good too. And from looking at these, I think these would all be pretty good. I don't actually know what this shape is meant for, like what you're meant to do with that. But these three I think would be really useful. That brow brush looks really thin and precise. So I think that one could be really good. But yeah, this is it, my finished look. My first try using the James Charles and Morphe palette and brushes. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you guys own it or if you were thinking of buying it. I'd love to hear your thoughts too. Otherwise, that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time. Bye.